my name is Fabien Delpiano. I'm the founder of Pastagames, a small studio based in Paris. We've been doing mobile games for almost 10 years on different platforms, Java, Nintendo DS, then went to PS3, Xbox and iOS, Android, things like that. And we had the great pleasure to work with Ubisoft Montpellier on an adaptation of Rayman Origins on iOS Android, the name of which is Rayman Jungle Run. Well, basically, Michel Ancel, so the creator of Rayman, wanted to make a portable version of Rayman Origins, and basically on tablets and telephones. And he was feeling like they didn't have the resource in Montpellier, and probably not the know-how at that point about mobile consoles with touch screens, and so iOS and Android basically. And he wanted to explore on that, maybe with a third party, with another studio. And we met and we say, okay, we could do that together. And we have know-how on the iOS and Android. You have an incredible engine, the name of which is the UbiArt framework. But at that point, it's really thought to be a console environment. So the implementation is really thought to be console-oriented. And iOS and Android, you should think differently. So maybe if we team together, we can make something. And at first, the project was just meant to be a demo on iOS of Rayman Origins to show the game to people that didn't have the chance to experience the Rayman feeling on the console, and say, hey, come to the console, come play. And so we made a prototype, and when we came out with the demo, we were so happy with the result that we said, probably we should invest some miles on that road to finish and to make it a complete game. So we pushed up. We've been working on that for almost nine months, and we came with the game that you could play minutes ago. The main difference between Rayman Jungle Run and Rayman Origins is, as you may have noticed, on iOS devices and Android devices, you do not have a controller. So all the thinking about the adaptation of the game was around the question of what can we do with a platformer in which it's important to be free to choose your path, to choose where you want to go, and you do not have a stick, because we didn't want to have a virtual stick, because games with virtual stick are very. After a while, you feel angry with the game because you say, that's a nice game, but I want a controller now. Now I'm hooked by the game. I want to play for real. So give me a controller, and we didn't want that. So what we made, the idea we had is Rayman Jungle Run is a game with a controller, but there's a good friend of yours taking care of the joystick. He's taking care of saying if he wants to go right, left, and that good friend is the iDevice. The device takes the responsibility of where you're running, and you're just taking care of the jump at start. But the jump, like in the original Rayman Origins, is contextual. When you're pressing the jump button, if you're running, then you jump. If you're sliding on a wall, then you make a wall jump. If you're running on a vertical wall, then you make that rocket jump, which is very different. If you're in the air, you're flying. So there's a lot to do with just one button. If you add to that if you make a short tap, you make a small jump, and if you make a long tap, you make a long jump, there is plenty to do just with the jump button. And that was already the case in the chest run in Rayman Origins. So we took the same idea of the chest runs of Rayman Origins, and we added the constraint that you have to run all the time. But you do not always have to run right, because sometimes your good friend decided that you should go left and right, and you just do the jumping. The first thing to be sure that people keep trying even if they lose is that when they lose, they are angry against themselves and not against the controls. So having very simple controls is the best way for you to be sure that players won't be angry against the machine. For example, in the Impossible game on the iOS, it's an amazingly difficult game, but it's a single one-touch button also, and you're never angry against the game because basically you're tapped a little too soon or a little too late, and it's your fault. So when you're angry against yourself, you keep trying. Also, we wanted to take the levels of death out of the daisy chains of all the levels. If you're playing the levels and always do next, 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 you will play 1, 2, 3 to 9, then 11 to 19, then 21 to 29, and all like this, and you will skip always the Land of the Dead. They are unlocked when you get the Teeth of Death in the levels. The Teeth of Death, you get them when you get all the lumps in the level. So they are unlocked along the way when you're playing. But as their difficulty level is really higher than the other levels of the world that you're playing, they are not in the daisy chain. And when you stop playing and say, okay, enough for today, and you go back to the menu, you see that you have now those levels that have unlocked, and they are available for you to play if you want. And when you arrive, you realize that the world is dark. Every other level are sunshine. It's blue sky. You arrive in that level, it's all dark. There is death everywhere. You realize that, okay, maybe that one will be hard. And you're not surprised because the first jump of the first level of death, 99.9% of people die at the first jump. It's like we wanted to have the feeling of, you know, the lost levels in Mario, the original Mario 2 in Japan. That was meant to be the Mario 2 in Japan, and it was meant to be played by people that had finished Mario 1, that knew Mario 1 by heart, that were the hardcore gamers of Mario 1, and it starts after the end of Mario. So you're just starting and you make like 2 minutes of games, and it looks like a lot like the first Mario level, unless, but when you are hitting the question mark box of the first box you see, a dark mushroom comes out, and if you take it, you die. We wanted to have the same feeling. Here, it's not easy. You know that. Enter at your own risk.